Hello everyone and welcome to the first Autumn Draconis video from Chica here with you guys. The game has launched finally on mainnet. Everything is going silky smooth. All the players are finding it real fun, pretty much as it was in beta in terms of how it's performing. And the team has already been on the move, taking in feedback from the players now that we are on mainnet and trying to make adjustments and optimizations as they see fit. This was recorded on launch day, and I'm doing a voiceover for it now. So there are some extra changes that's been made later on, but we'll get to that later. All right, so here we are. I've got 6 heroes in total, and we can only play with 5 at a time. We can always play with 1, 2, 3, 4. It doesn't matter. All it matters is how you build them and how you play it. So for now, I've got 5 heroes that I've set up. 3 of them are neophytes, 1 apprentice and 1 master. 2 of those neophytes are Genesis, and the rest of them are corruption. The difference between Genesis and corruption as of now is that Genesis heroes will have a crafting and gathering bonus that's behind the scenes, it's in the game. And the corruption heroes will have elemental bonuses. So basically, elements are going to be introduced later into the game in terms of being a much more heavier thing. It's closely related to magic, you can say, but things are not exactly clear on that. But we'll see how it goes. But elemental especially means you'll get bonus ice, fire damage, something of that sort is what's in plan. Right, so I have a crafter's starter kit as my only chest. I will be opening that up later. And I also have my trusty tiny dragon here, my first NFT ever that I've ever minted. These are all going to be crucial in terms of playing the game with all the elements intact. And we'll see how it all fares out. But I hope those starting out with just 1 hero, 2 heroes are also able to get some tips from this video right here. Right, my master warrior is who I will be building first, set to be my warrior up front, who will be very attack focused. Again, for those new to the game, there are 5 different ranks in both the Genesis and the Corruption collections. Neophyte is the most common one, and then comes apprentice, then comes master, then comes grandmaster, then comes legendary. Basically, if you have a legendary, you will start with 30 points, 25 if you have grandmaster, 20 if you have a master like we do right here, and 15 if you have an apprentice, and 10 if you have a neophyte. These are the points that you start with. So the more rarer your hero NFT is, the more points you have to start off with, and thus it will be advantageous accordingly. So here, my master hero is who I'm going to use to literally take on enemies on the plane. So I'll just go through these character stats right here. Attack is self-explanatory. You put more points into attack, the more damage that you deal to enemies in the planes. Simple as that. So any warrior is obviously you want to focus on attack as much as possible. Defense is the other way around. It depends, the amount of defense points you have will affect the amount of damage that you'll be taking. Speed is now a particularly amazing feature because it affects things in many different ways. So the more speed you have, and essentially if you have more speed than the enemy you are facing, you will always get the first hit. And vice versa, if the enemy has more speed than you, they will always get the first hit. So putting at least 1 point into speed when you start off in level 1 is important, and I'll demonstrate it later as well. That's another thing about speed, by the way. I mean, it's not just about getting the first hit, it's also the double hit feature. You can get 2 hits in, and also it'll help you flee enemies if you got more speed. Alright, so we'll move on. Endurance is also a very important one. Each endurance point is equal to 100 hit points. Hit points is basically your health bar right there on orange up top near your hero's picture, and the blue bar is obviously the turns you've got, which are 10. Each turn is almost each battle or each action you do. Having at least 4 points into endurance is important in the beginning. Generally speaking, you want to increase your health as much as possible, because each level these enemies are going to have, let's say each level they're going to increase in the range of about 500 odd or less or more each level. You want to try and match it. Leveling up, you'll get 10 more points, which you can use to build out more points to your character. So essentially about 3 or 4 points each level that you go up into endurance will make sure your hit points and health stay pretty much similar to that, so you are still able to take them on and have actually be able to go through most of your 10 turns before you're gonna have to heal. Luck is up in the air really, because luck is tied to the amount or the kind of loot you'd get, whether they would be the shoddy and common stuff, or they be the rare stuff. It's entirely up to you how lucky you feel really to be able to give points to that particular category. So I would leave it up to you. Magic. Now this is huge as well, because magic is a skill point that only concerns you if you are having a mage build, a magic based build, because otherwise almost all the other characters won't have much to do with magic. If it's a warrior, if it's a crafter build, it's a gathering build, speed build, it doesn't matter, because magic is only coming into the picture when you use magic weapons. And by magic weapons, I mean wand or staff. These are the two big time magic weapons available. If you're gonna go with a mage build, then you need as much magic points as possible, but not as much attack points. Sometimes in the early game, you might not get a wand immediately, especially if you don't have a mage starter kit. You might not be able to get your hands on a wand immediately or a staff immediately. And in that case, you still have to play with it, right? And you still have to try and level it up. Regardless of if you have 1 or 2 heroes or 5 heroes, you want to try and keep them all in similar-ish levels, so that when you're taking on the bigger enemies, you're still able to switch them and take them on in the same vein. Generally speaking, for the mage, I would still, unless you have a wand ready, I would still put a few points into attack, like get it going in the beginning, and then still have some points allocated to magic. And then once you get your hands on a wand, whether it's by buying from the marketplace or whether it's by getting it from loot, you can start concentrating purely on magic for each level up in terms of assigning points, and ignore attack mostly. So another aspect of that mage build will be that you need to have a good supply of magic weapons on hand, wands and staffs, or you need to have enough DCAR on hand to be able to repair them. And also, to repair it, you would need a little bit of crafting points too, and that's where crafting comes in. Crafting is obviously a point assigned for any crafting purposes in the game, and by crafting purposes, mostly it comes down to using blueprints in the Crafters Guild to make weapons or whatever is on the blueprint, whether it be potions or whether it be weapons. So the shoddier, more common weapons, you only need 1 crafting point, which you have automatically. But for common weapons, you need 10. For let's say uncommon, rare-ish weapons, you need uncommon. I think you need 25 or 30, and rare you need 50, and so on and so forth. So fabled epic I think is 75, fabled is 100. So crafting is going to be very, very powerful when it comes to crafting some of the most powerful weapons, because those are only available in blueprints. They're not really available in game through loot, and that means that being able to craft them would be a huge advantage. So keep it in mind. If you have extra heroes, I would say go for a crafting build. If you only have 1 hero, then I wouldn't necessarily recommend a crafting build per se, because it'd be much harder to get through the game without the staple attack, defense, speed, endurance points to back you up. Crafting is also important for repairing weapons, along with a little bit of DCAR. So if you have multiple heroes, then having a crafting build is going to be pretty important. Gathering is in the same way. That'll help you gather a lot more resources in the deep woods and the mines. So these are 2 areas in the map where you can go to gather resources. In the deep woods, you would get different types of wood and cotton, and in the mines you'll get all kinds of metallic resources, iron, ore, coal, stone, and if you get lucky, some rarer stuff. Now the inventory is a particular window on the left. that's where you'll find all of your equipments and your potions and your weapons. They can also be categorized with those buttons on the left. You can also find your chests and tiny dragons, as I showed you earlier. So this is my second hero right here, and it's an apprentice, so I'll have 15 points. And this one is also corruption based, so this is what I would like to make my mage, because I am speculating that magic will have something to do with all the elemental boost that you might get. You know, having a wand or staff with elemental boost would make it doubly powerful. But I do need a mage. The master warrior is also corruption, so her being an attack warrior, the elemental boost will work for her too. But this apprentice right here is what I am trying to make a mage out of. But as you can see, I did still give 3 attack, and that is because I don't have a wand yet, so I might not be able to enter into battle with this particular magic build unless I have some kind of attack. So I'm gonna have to do with some other weapons until I get my hands on a wand or a staff, so that I can really get those magic points to work for me. So in these times of dire necessity, we are gonna go to Dragon Head and into the marketplace to see if we can get some good deals, because there's almost always gonna be lots of players play in the game, and a whole lot of luck goes into what kind of loot they get. Sometimes they don't want or need it, sometimes they're just looking for a quick buck, and as a result you'll get some pretty good deals in the marketplace for DCAU. And we are talking about point something or DCAU. At the time of recording, DCAU is about $15. So you'll get some amazing things. Just look at that iron pickaxe for 0.1 DCAU. If you don't have a chest, you want to access the mines, then a pickaxe is absolutely needed. So that's where you can get that for just about $1.50. And so it's just some change. Now look at this weapon right here. I have decided to go for it because it's an enchanted heavy stone axe of speed. So it's got plus 15 attack and plus 3 speed as well. So it'll help me get that double hit. It doesn't have much durability, but a major goal right now is to have a very powerful weapon that can stick around for a while. And also because it's shoddy, it's easier to repair in terms of cost as well as crafting skill points needed. And since I have a crafter build, I think I should be able to repair it as well. You could get through most enemies in the earlier levels with a weapon like that, and I'm getting it for just 0.1 DCAU, $1.50. So it's a no-brainer for me to have a weapon like that, especially when you don't know what kind of loot you're gonna get. If you're gonna keep getting just equipment as loot and you don't have equipment, then you just can't go forward, right? So might as well go in and look for these kind of deals in there. And luckily for me, I did get this deal, and that's going to help me a lot going forward, equipping this weapon to get some heroes to level up quite faster. So again, stuff like this is something everyone can do, even people with just 1 or 2 heroes, people without tiny dragons, people without chests, they can all do this exact same thing. Right, so back into the scheme of things, let's assign points for some of our other heroes here. This is a Genesis hero, and I have it to be attack minded. So as usual, I would go for 4 attack and 4 endurance at least to start things off. 1 extra for speed, some for defense, and 1 for luck. Pretty, simple and immediate build that you can go for almost any type of hero and be able to get through level 1 easy, and also withstand through level 2 by building on top of it. So I think that's the stock build that I would look at, and this is the crafter that I have assigned, as this is also a Genesis hero, so I'd make this the crafter to get that bonus. And here I have gone for at least a little bit of so obviously I'm going to put points into crafting, but I do need to get that endurance, attack and defense up as well, because at some point we'll have to get her to go into battle as well. So, and this last final hero is a corruption neophyte. This I don't really have any plans for. I try to keep it flexible, so apart from going with the stock build, maybe I will go for a little bit of a gathering focus on this one, so that I can use her to do all the stuff in the resources, as well as a little bit of things in the forge. So the forge is another place in the Dragon Haven part of the map where you can take the resources like iron ore and coal and stuff like that, and forge bars out of it, iron bars and steel bars and all that, which will come in handy as resources either to sell in the marketplace, or you can use them to craft weapons. So they'll come in handy later on. If my crafting focus is, all the points are going into crafting. Usually you would make your crafter also the gatherer, so most of the points are going to both of them, but building up both of them might take a while. So if you have an extra hero, might as well make her a gatherer as well. And a little bit of attack focus, as in my previous videos, have a bit of a punching bag kind of hero where you can just lay back on her or on that particular hero to deal some damage, take some damage, and protect the other heroes. So that's how I've laid out my 5 heroes, and that's how I'm gonna go with this particular pack. Let's open our crafter's starter kit now so that we can get some weapons. These are available at the marketplace on NF Trade and Jopex if you want to go ahead and buy one for about 4 or 5 AVAX, if I'm not wrong, maybe 6 at this point. It's not entirely necessary as such, but I minted this way back when it officially launched first for DCAR, and it's pretty cool because it gives you a whole loadout of equipment and weapons to equip your heroes with, and not bad. I've actually got a pretty good loadout right here. Rare iron pickaxe of health is always great, so I'm gonna have a pickaxe that will go on for a long time working the mines. Uncommon heavy axe of health is dope because that extra health bonus is gonna help. That's a pretty good blueprint too. Shoddy Sword of Health, plus 50 HP and plus 2 attack. Not bad, not enough attack really, but you do need gem shards to craft it. Usually you'd get that by breaking down gem infused weapons. So these are all pretty good. They all have a crafting and gathering focus, so you equipping them you'd get a whole lot of crafting and gathering bonuses, which will really go a long way. And it's also got some health bonuses, so that means I'm gonna have a whole lot of hit points to start off as well. I'm gonna go ahead and claim all of them. Now when it comes to equipping your heroes with it, so obviously you would think, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and equip my crafter hero with all of these weapons, right? Before that, like I said, our mage is kind of in a bit of a peculiar situation right now because we don't have a wand yet. One of the reasons I went to the marketplace earlier was to search for a wand, if I could get my hands on one, so that the mage is kind of set at least to keep on using magic as the major skill point focus when it comes to assigning skill points as they level up, but he doesn't have it yet. So until I get a wand, I need to try and get this mage's level up as much as possible, right? And once I get a wand, or once I get this hero to level 2 or 3, then I can switch back to my crafter and give all these equipment to them, right? So there's flexibility here. It's not like you assign it to one hero and it always gonna have to stay on that hero. You can always take them out and put them back in between battles at any point you want. So that's what I'm gonna do right now. I'm gonna give almost every single of these equipment to my apprentice corruption hero, who is my magic focus, and I'm gonna give my warrior this stone axe that I got from the marketplace with that plus 13 attack, and the other axe that I got from the kit to my mage. Yes, all that crafting gathering is not really important right now. What's important is that extra attack and defense I'm getting, and so that the mage can still keep going. And I'm gonna equip my master warrior with the tiny dragon as well. Right, it's time to hit the plains finally. Enough of the explanations and stuff. Right, so we are up against normal and medieval Touche for our first battle, and as you can see, the tiny dragon literally just aced him. That's right. That tiny dragon is also just level 1, by the way. So imagine that. You can always use these tiny dragons to level up in the game itself. That feature is yet to be completely rolled out into the game, but as of now, your tiny dragons are going to be very effective. And once the leveling system within the game rolls out, I'm pretty sure they will start dealing damage according to their levels. But for now, this is pretty easy. 8 XP and a good bunch of DCAR, 0.3 to 0.5 per battle. And because I put that extra into speed, and these level 1s always have 1 speed, they are never going to get the first hit. I am always going to get the first hit. And by getting that first hit with the tiny dragon, I have essentially made level 1 my you know what. And try and keep it PG. But yeah, so it's pretty damn awesome, isn't it? Let's bring our apprentice mage into action. This is the hero we equipped all our equipment with. And because of all that, it is able to withstand attacks and also deal significant damage, despite having a magic focus. So that's where it's kind of important, right? Because, if the game isn't giving you exactly what you need, you're going to try and take what the game provides and work with it. And you are essentially doing the same thing here. I did not give an extra point speed for this hero, and it's meant that I'm always getting hit first in level 1, but it's not a big deal because it's only making 6 or 7 damage on me. And you could see the health bar right there, 1576 on top of the 4 skill points, so 400 hit points that I got from just assigning it. Those extra 900,000 HPs comes simply from having all of those equipment with you. Again, the chest is just really powerful. It's all about what the gods of RNG is going to bless you with, so it's going to depend on that. So I'm just going to checking the durability here. Uncommon weapons, so 225 is the durability I've got. We've already burned through 15 of it while going through these battles so far. Another thing to be wary of is don't burn through your turns completely immediately, because you might just keep going it like this and 10 turns are done and you have 80 XP, but you can't go any further because you still got about 45 XP to go to get through level 1 and get to level 2 so that your turns and health is replenished. So try and play it as best as possible. So if you only have one hero, then there's no other way around it, and apart from going to the wild boar and getting a room to replenish your turns and health. But if you have 2 heroes, then take up 10 turns for one hero and then take up the other hero's 10 turns, initiate battles with the other hero, but then switch back to your first hero to complete the battle and go through with it, so that the XP is still going to that first hero. That way, so 20 turns worth 8 XP is about 160 XP. So pretty sure that way you will be able to get level 2 and get back your 10 turns because you level up. And you can keep going that way and use those same turns for now the second hero that you used, kind of farm turns with, and get him leveled up. That's another 10 turns you get again. At some point this will end because level 2 heroes are a lot more advanced than these level 1s, so you got to be wary of that as well. But that's a method that I had documented in my previous videos that you can go through in the channel. Right, so it's time to test out the mines now. I got the rare iron pickaxe of health. For now I'm just going to use the mage because it does have those extra gathering skills from having all that equipment from off the craft to get equipped. And because of all that gathering, I'm actually getting a good amount of coal and a decent amount of experience also for each turn. So each turn you will be getting one resource and a resource vein, and depending on your luck, you might get 8 or 10 shots at it, or maybe 20. It doesn't, you never know. But you just keep going. Each time I'm clicking it, I'm getting iron ore, and in this instant, along with experience. And once the vein runs out, the turn is done. And I wanted to like literally just go through that and get to 125 XP, but I only got 119. I did forget to, when I kept the pickaxe, I don't want it to, get broken down that fast. I only want it to be used in the mines, so I'm gonna protect it. Switch back to the axe. So I'm gonna go ahead and search the plains with the gatherer hero that we have set up. I'm gonna see what happens when I... okay. Sometimes these side quests don't work in your favor. You get lost in the woods and you lose a turn. Alright, so I initiated a battle and then I switched over to my mage hero, who I'm trying to get leveled up. And there it is. He's now leveled up. He's got all his health back. He's got all his turns back. Now you can go again with that particular hero. Just taking a look at how much DC and DCR we have gotten so far. That all amounts up to about $1 or so. But then again, the play to earn aspect of it is there, but it's also about having fun while playing the game, leveling up your heroes in the best way possible. And then eventually you will get to a point where you can craft big time weapons. You can take on the bigger enemies, make more in tokens that way, and then is when you will be actually earning big. You can't really just go ahead, hit the ground running, earning. This is not that kind of game. This is a little more strategic and methodical in the way it is. It emphasizes fun first and earning later, and that's how good game should be anyway. I mean, what's the point of earning everything in the beginning, because then it would get boring real quick and later on the game won't be worth it anymore. So this particular hero, again, I put a good amount of points to magic, but then again I don't have my wand yet, so I'm still gonna go a little bit to the attack so that I can keep playing with that hero as long as possible, because once I get the wand it should be pretty powerful. Okay, so once you get to level 2 you'll get these quests, and quests are basically specific enemies that you have to kill in the plains with the specific hero. And if you get a number of them as specified in the quest, you will get a chest with some XP and maybe some good loot depending on your luck. Went through this in the previous videos as well. It's called quest watching. Take a look at that. And that's another hero that's leveled up there. That's my master warrior. Pretty good stuff. More attack, more endurance, a little bit of defense and speed. You want to try and get that double hit once in a while. And also, all the enemies are going to be upgraded now, so you want to at least get the first hit net from time to time. So it's time to earn it now from the mage. I think this is enough. We have got him to level 2. I'm going to try and get our actual crafter up to level 2, and hopefully we can get our hands on a wand. Alright, so into the battle she goes. And once again, one hitting like crazy. Some pretty good loot there. Great flint block, pistol of health. Axe is dealing pretty good damage. We don't have to care about taking damage right now. Those equipment has been such a boon with having so much health coming in. 1500 is just way OP for level 1, so we don't have to worry about dying anytime soon. But I'm gonna try out that pistol that I got earlier from the marketplace. Again, it's not really working out as I intended, obviously, because we don't have enough attack. But then again, we always have the master warrior and the tiny dragon to fall back on to keep grinding away, using almost 3 different heroes to get through that particular enemy and also get some good experience for all of them. Pretty much using my master warrior right now to just get that big hit in from the tiny dragon, and then use the lower level heroes to take on these level 2 heroes. It's not exactly a favorable matchup, but the more you take on hero enemies that are a little above your level, the more XP you will gain. And instead of getting just 8 XP from one battle, you might end up getting 20 or 30. This is another feature in the game, by the way. You see the bell icon on the bottom left of the screen. It gives you a notification of every damage you're dealing, both to the enemy as well as to us. We are going in on our merry way. I had also, in my previous video, last video in the beta phase before the this particular video on mainnet, gone through the multiple hero switching strategy in depth as well. So I'd recommend you guys checking that out. I'm pretty much doing the same method right here, just going through different enemies, initiating battles with different heroes, using the tiny dragon to soften him up, and then using my level 1s against these level 2s to farm some XP faster. And look at that, our crafter has already reached 121 of 125. In the meantime, the other heroes are also gaining XP by tidbits, and once it comes to focus them to level up, we are already almost 30 or 50% of the way there. So this is pretty dope. It's one of the best ways to play the game. We don't have to worry about heroes running out or anything. If the demand is there, team is gonna just go ahead and mint more heroes, because heroes are not supposed to be that expensive. They're supposed to be around a certain amount. Simple as that. Again, level 1 crafter, like after 5 or 6 battles, got into level 2 because of, using your already level 2 heroes to get some bigger enemies to battle against it. I have put more points into crafting, but I also have to make sure my attack and defense are not that bad. Put some to speed as well. Endurance is okay for now, because all of those equipment that I put on the crafter has given me way too much health already. So I don't have to worry about endurance too much at this point of time, which gives me more room to put into crafting and attack and defense and so on and so forth. As I said, the new feature means level 1. Level 1 heroes can resurrect for free, but from level 2 that's not going to be the case. But resurrection fees will be much lesser for level 2 and level 3, so you can still play around and still try to have fun with the game without having to get bogged down by paying for it much and all that. But then again, these methods that I just shown, you could see that I have never had to actually use a potion or go into the healing hut throughout this particular video. And this video is actually a documentation of my mainnet launch first views. So the methods that I've been using in my previous videos in the beta testing phase have pretty much been what I've been using right now, and it's worked out perfectly. That's how it is. So I hope you guys got a good primer of how the initial phase of the game works, whether it be with 1, 2 or multiple heroes, and almost all the major aspects of the game, as you see when you hit the ground running. And hopefully later on I'll make more videos on more advanced stuff, but at least there is this video to point to get the primary aspects of the game down pat. And more than anything else, have fun with the game. Goodbye for now, and cheek out.